Hello, everybody. My name is Ivan, and this is not a class, but it's a blog of what I've been doing. And I'm gonna keep doing these videos for myself, so I can keep record of what I'm doing. And if I have to review something, I can go back to the video. In this case, I'm working on this scene. This is a biking scene that I found in the asset store, and implementing sounds for different props here. One of the props is the torch. So I have this, and this is how it sounds right now. It's very subtle. This one's a little bit too far. They can be a little bit louder. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna go back and show you how I created the sound. I mean, that's not rocket science. I just use Reaper here. So I have these 3 layers of sound. This is already edited. I'm gonna show you what I did with the editing. So I'm gonna just maybe delete this one. Let me delete this one. Okay. So this is what I have. This is a fire sound. I'm gonna deselect this one. So I'm just gonna let you hear this. Which is pretty good by itself. The only thing is that I needed to loop. So in order to make a loop, the easiest way to do it, like an infinite loop, is getting the file. I'm gonna use this grid, so I know that I have to kind of have this length. That's an arbitrary length. I mean, there is no it has to be any number of specific seconds. I just wanted to have this one, so I'm gonna go ahead here and delete split. Sorry about this. I'm gonna okay. So first thing is that Reaper does this automatically. He creates these nice fades. They are very useful. That's what I have in by default. But right now, this is not what I want. So I have this without any fade, and this without any fade. Yeah, I can actually add a little bit more here, just in case. Cool. So what I'm gonna do now is that I'm gonna cut in the middle and split. So what's gonna happen? Since I split here, if I go here and zoom in, and zoom in, well, I guess again I need to remove this. I don't know if I will be able to show you this, but there is no interruption in the wave, so there's not gonna be any pop. That's very useful when I'm gonna loop, because what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna move this one here and this one here. So this one is gonna be first, and this one is gonna be second. And what I'm gonna do now, remember this space I left here, I have this marker. So it's 2 or 1. I just wanna, I'm gonna have only one, I guess. That's not a big deal. So I'm gonna move this and let it crossfade. I'm gonna just recheck that I don't have any fades at the beginning, any fades here. That should be it. So I'm gonna play back this. In Reaper, you can select a region and then you can activate the loop is here, or just press the key R and that's it. So you see there is no interruption between this point and this point. Yeah, because I did this before, I already had some changes in dynamic here in volume. I have an envelope here. Okay, so that works. So that's how I create the loop. I did the same with this one. So I'm gonna layer both of them. This one has more crack. And I also added a little bit of flames here, just to add a little bit of variation. So this is how it sounds. Cool. So what I'm gonna do now, I have this already, or this. I'm gonna render this. So I'm gonna go here, render, and it's gonna be a master mix because I have different um, tracks, but I need to make sure that only export the time selection, which is this selection I have here. Otherwise, it's gonna bounce everything in the session, and we don't want that. I'm gonna name it Torch 2. Well, I'm gonna name it Torch 3 now. I am working in 48 stereo. What is gonna happen is that I'm gonna have to force it to mono in Unity. I can do that right now. So I want it in mono, and that's pretty much it. I don't want online render. I'm gonna put offline. This is just to show what I'm doing. I just want a wave file. I don't want anything. I'm gonna let Unity do the encoding. Actually, I mean, I don't know if there's any big difference between the encoding in Reaper for OGGs and MP3. I just want something that is high quality, so I can work with that. So I have this render one file. Let's go. Cool. So in Unity, I have this, and I go to my folder. I have this ambient sound. I have Torch One. These are sounds that this is actually one that's already implemented. Just gonna import new assets, and I'm gonna import Torch 3, which is this one. Okay. So this project has a problem. I mean, because I think it's an example project and everything that is, it doesn't have a nice prefab for the torches. So what I'm gonna do here is gonna search for torch, and I have this. So I'm gonna select all of them, and I'm gonna drag this one to the audio source. I need to open this. There we go. Cool. I'm just gonna turn this off because that's something I'm gonna show later. But if we go here, that should work. Let's play. I can barely hear it, so let's see what's going on. First of all, I'm gonna go to the audio source, and I have this. I think maybe the maximum distance is too small, so I'm gonna put it to 2020. And I wanted to play on awake. I wanted to loop. That's right. Let me see if everything is correct here. This is a mono. I think it's because you see it's not normalized like this one. Cancel. Apply. Yeah. Let's see this one. This one is the one I imported before. This because I exported in stereo, and then when you put normalize, he normalized the file. Let's see if I can make it normalize here. If not, I'm gonna use the other one anyways. Meh, it doesn't. Anyway, so I'm gonna go again here. I like the other one, which is exactly the same sound. Apply, yeah, whatever. But it's normalized. Normalizing is raising the level to unity, like zero gain, the peak of the signal, so it sounds louder. Sometimes it's not the best idea. In this case, it's not. I mean, it's not that important, but sometimes normalizing is gonna add a lot of noise. Now, there is another thing I have here. I have this is the clip that I want to use, and I'm gonna make it a 3D sound. 3D sound means that I won't listen to it. I mean, it's gonna mimic the physics, the audio physics of the environment. So if I'm close to it, I'm gonna listen to it. If I'm not close, I'm not gonna listen to it. In comparison, 2D, it's a sound that you're gonna listen regardless where you are in the scene. So in this case, I want it to be interactive, and I want it to sound when I'm close to it. This volume roll off, and I'm gonna play, and I want you to see what happens here with this. You see, now this sounds a little bit louder. Kind of like it, like that. So this is gonna evaluate the distance between you and the prop that you are working on. Let's find a specific one, and then we can go there and listen this one. No, I want this closer. Okay, I like this one. Let's try to find that one. Scene. Okay, there we go. So you see here, this is me. I'm the listener because the audio listener is inside the character, the main camera here. So the closer I get, so that kind of works. Cool. So this is just a basic thing. It's gonna loop on the scene all the time. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of variety to this, and that's gonna be with the script. So I'm gonna look for torch again. I have torch here. Cool. And if you see, I had this one. I created this one. I'm just gonna open it and show you what I did with this. So in this case, I'm attached to the torch. It's not a prefab, but it's a game object. That's why I'm selecting all of them. So all of them are gonna have the same script. I don't have to randomize each one at a time. So the first of all, I'm gonna create a variable for the audio source. Just audio source, and then just call the audio source. Now I'm gonna create a float, which is gonna be the variation range. This range is the range that I'm allowed to insert in that variable. So it's gonna be from 0 to 0.5 float, and I'm gonna show you why is that. Then I have another variable that is a pitch variation. That's gonna be the final variation, and I created a new one and made it public because I wanna confirm that each one of my torches has a different pitch variation. So on start, I declare the audio source. So I call the audio source here. So what it's gonna do is that it's gonna find is that look in that game object and get the component audio source, so I can manipulate its properties. Then I have this pitch variation, which is gonna be 1f, which is the default value for pitch, like not the number 1, and I'm gonna add a random range. Random range is going to create a random value between these two parameters, variation range minus variation range and pitch variation range, which is this variable. So for example, I'm going to hard code this to show you. If I had here 0.2, so it's going to be minus 0.2f 2 0.2f, and that value is going to be created the moment the game starts, the moment the object is created. So since I have the same script attached to each individual torch, is going to create different values. So it's going to create some randomization in pitch for them. So, but in order to make it, easy for me to create that value and make it random across all the game objects, I don't want to hard code this. So I'm just gonna change it to minus pitch variation range to variation range. Okay, so it's gonna, and this value is gonna be between 0 and 0.5 is gonna be added to this value. For example, if you have minus 0.2, so how long we 1 minus 0.2 is gonna be 0.8. So the pitch is gonna be a little bit lower. Instead, if I have plus 0.5 is gonna be, well, 1.5. So it's gonna be a little bit higher. Okay, good. So that should work. And I'm gonna save this, and I'm gonna go back to Unity. So in Unity, I'm gonna let it compile, and I'm gonna activate it. So I'm gonna go back here and torch. Cool. So I have this, look, at this moment it's 0 because at the beginning it was 0. It's gonna be assigned at the moment of start. So I'm gonna just press play and see what's going on. So I don't have any value here because now it's showing me the values for all of them. But if I go to every individual torch, I have 0.8 here, 1.2, 0.8, 0.9, 1.1, etc. So that should create some variety when you're walking around. This is a little bit far. I cannot go farther than from here. I can look another one. Listen to this one again. This sounds a little bit loud, lower. Yeah, I don't want them to sound very different, actually. But for the sake of demonstration, let's make it very extreme. So I'm gonna make this all the way here. So, and they should sound, at least some of them, very different. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's very subtle, but I think I'm gonna keep it. I was a little bit afraid of doing it, like overusing the pitch, but yeah, I think I'm gonna keep that, and that's how I'm creating these torches. Cool. Well, thank you, and I hope it helps. I'm still developing this, and I hope if you have any questions, you can put any comments in the. You can put comments in the comment section. You have a good day. Bye bye.